to Vivatech 2024. So for those who discover the event, Vivatech is simply the largest tech event in Europe. And each year it gathers all the best tech entrepreneurs from all around the world, the most promising startups. So it's definitely an event that you want to follow. And this year is no exception. We have an incredible panel of personalities. For example, this afternoon we will have remotely, but still, Elon Musk. We will have the 68th Secretary of State, John Kerry, the Williams sisters, and when it comes to the tech world, we will have the CEO of X, so formerly Twitter, and SVP from Google and Alphabet, so a lot of wonderful personalities. And for our Belgian fellows, we will have Charles Michel, so the President of the European Council. And because today together, we will have a close look at what's happening in Belgium, and more precisely in Wallonia, Wallonia being the French-speaking part of Belgium. Since we're a bit late, I will shorten the introduction and directly present Belgium with Martine Leclerc, who is the Trade and Investment Counselor at Awit, Awit being the agency for export and investment. So she will have a brief word and introduce us the attractivity of Belgium. So Martine, could you introduce yourself and what you're doing at Awit?
Yes. Thank you, Diane. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you. Welcome at Vivatech and in our Belgian booth. So as a trade advisor a trade counselor for Awit in Paris, we organize trade show. And Vivatech is the biggest one we have in the tech sector in France. But the trade show, of course, has a European mindset. So we are welcoming this year 17 companies from Wallonia. We connect them with the main groups, the one present at Vivatech with their own startups, with VCs, with investors. And we also try to sell Wallonia to them, telling them we have a huge ecosystem, a great ecosystem of incubators, of accelerators, of companies, of VCs. You can easily recruit in Belgium. You have 50,000 students, multilingual, qualified, that you can recruit. That when you start a company in Belgium, please come to us. Well, we will discover, I think, 10 companies, Diane, if I'm not mistaken, this afternoon. So I'm really happy to introduce them to you. This year we are silver partner at Vivatech. We co-organize the booth with our colleagues from Hub Brussels, and we always try to sell Belgium in this main show and to get the maximum visibility.
And what could you say about Belgium? Why is it attractive to do business in Belgium?
Well, first of all, we are the center of Europe. We have 500 million consumers. What am I saying? Really around us, so it's a huge test market. You can easily access France, easily access Germany, easily access the Netherlands. So for companies establishing themselves in Belgium is quite convenient, actually. We have a very large and diversified economy, which means that you can, I spoke about recruitment earlier, but also quickly connect with our competitive clusters. In the tech sector is Digiteal Wallonia, and Digiteal Wallonia had, for instance, mapped the whole ecosystem. The whole digital ecosystem is really a reliable partner for every investor who is setting up in Belgium. We also have fiscal incentives and many more to attract companies in our region.
And what is the Awit doing? For example, how does it put together the investors and entrepreneurs? What do you do all year round eventually?
Well, first of all, we try to understand the need of the Walloon companies and who are the key VCs, the key investors, and how we can match them. So it's declined in different ways. For instance, here at Vivatech, we decided to put for each company, whether they will, you can look at the booth and at the light box, you will see on the top of them there is a clear signalétic saying, okay, I'm looking for investors or I'm looking for clients. We try also to work, for instance, with initiatives such as My Global Village to spot investors and to link with our companies, depending is whether they are in Series A or Series B or C or early stage. We have a nice office in Paris, easily located around the Assemblée Nationale. Voilà, very convenient to arrive there and to meet with our companies and to organize events with them. So we use this tool as well to connect them with the French ecosystem.
And could you just briefly introduce yourself? Because at first I know your path is very interesting, as you have this very comprehension of the global trade and the interaction between the nations, and that's due to your career. So could you just briefly introduce yourself?
Oh, yes. So I am a business engineer, so I started my career as a consultant for EY Consulting, who was then acquired by Capgemini, which is our next, with our neighbor at Vivatech actually. And then with them, I did consulting mission in the banking career, so I have more from a banking sector background. That lasted about 7 years, and then I was trying to find new challenges. So I joined Awit, the Wallonia Trade and Investment Office, which is an economic development agency promoting export and investment. And with them, I started my career in Chicago, 6 years, then in Stockholm, 6 years, and now in Paris, about 6-7 years as well, which is interesting because every time you get closer to Belgium, you have a better knowledge of the ecosystem, and then each country has its own mindset and its own way to make business and to promote companies actually. So it's 3 different countries and 3 different jobs actually.
Yes, that's exactly what's interesting about your profile, is that your knowledge are not only theoretical, you really understand in depth and with your practical experience. So that was very interesting. So thank you very much, Martin. I will go ahead with our entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. So yes, today Awit has selected 17 entrepreneurs, but we will discuss with 10 of them. The idea is for you to get a better overview of who is behind actually all those startups, companies, so that you better understand what is their value, what is their drive. Because when it comes to investment, in case they are looking for investors, what is really important is, of course, the product in itself, the innovation, the profitability of the company, but also what is a make or break in this deal. It is the match between the people. So here it's one opportunity for you to better understand who is behind those companies, and these are information that you do not have online or on a PowerPoint presentation. So it's a very unique chance for you to discover this, and I will have a one-by-one introduction with each entrepreneurs, and so you can follow us and we will discuss with each of them. We will start with A Smart World. I hope they're ready. Whoop. Perfect. So we have the founder and the CEO of A Smart World. So good afternoon, good morning. I'm not sure what time is it yet. But could you introduce us to A Smart World? What is its mission?
Yes, so we've developed with A Smart World a platform which is removing all the friction to collect unused smartphones. You know, in Europe you have about 700 million of smartphones sleeping in drawers, which shows that the current solution to avoid smartphones to enter into a drawer just failed to collect those devices. And we are solving that problem.
And to get a better picture, so who are you and why did you
Okay, I'm Geoffroy, I'm the founder of A Smart World. We started a bit more than 5 years ago, but before that I spent 10 years abroad, out of which 6 years in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where I've seen for 3 years in the port of Matadi the illegal importation of e-waste. Then I've seen in the Katanga province the working conditions in the mine of copper and cobalt. Then 4 years in Southeast Asia, and when I came back, I wanted to capitalize on this experience to do something which was positive for environment and society. And that's where I started A Smart World, to do like a positive impact on environment and society.
And how does your platform help to collect unused smartphone? Is it, for example, the same business model than back market?
No, actually we can be like, we are more like an enabler of change. So we help players like back market, the telcos and others, to have like more efficient system to collect. The thing is that it's super important to bring transparency and efficiency to this process, and so that's what we do with our platform. So the thing is that we have a software, people have to download an app on the smartphone to be resolved. So it's initially a B2C software, which is solving the main issues, the main friction to collect those devices. But the thing is, okay, it's good to have the best solution on the market, but the next challenge was, how can I reach millions of people at no cost? And it's by solving the problem that key market players may have. So they will be using our solution to collect like tons of devices.
Yeah, that's a bit in line with my other question, which is what are the, because it is quite new in this process, so what are the main challenges that you have encountered in collecting all the smartphones?
I mean, the fact is that the current solution of, as I said previously, are just failing to collect those devices. The thing is to understand why. People, I mean, they just do not know it's possible to recirculate them. And if you take, I mean, the telcos, for example, they all have a buyback trade-in program. All of them. They have something in common. It's not efficient. If it was efficient, we wouldn't have in Europe 700 million of phones sleeping in drawers. So the thing is, they have the customers, they have the willingness to do something. We have the solution. Let's work together. The first problem we solve is that we are doing like remote model identification. So we avoid some discrepancies between, I mean, how it works now, people are just declaring, I have an iPhone 12, which is in perfect shiny condition, based on the declaration, which is potentially wrong because they did a mistake, they don't know exactly what model they have. They get a value based on the declaration. But at the end of the process, there's like a devaluation of price because it's not correct what they said before. They're not lying, they just did a mistake. Yeah, it's a wrong statement. They're not happy, it's not a good user experience because they were expecting 500 euro, let's say, and they are getting proposed 200 at the end of the process. But the buyer, the telco, for example, is not willing to come back to the seller. He has plenty of other things to do than talking to everyone to negotiate the price. So we are just avoiding all those costs to collect the device by doing like remote model identification. We ensure that all the iCloud and Google accounts are disconnected as well because it's the main reason why we're not able to recirculate smartphones. So we are really like streamlining the whole process.
And talking about cost, do you have some data to share? For example, what is the cost of not collecting and reusing smartphones?
I mean, I would say in terms of monetary value, if you keep a smartphone in the drawer, the value would just reduce super fast. So the main target is actually the smartphone you have in your pocket. I just want to avoid it to enter into a drawer. Because when you will replace this phone, in 17% of the case, it will still be functional actually, but you will keep it. I don't want you to keep it. I want you to get like the most value possible you can get from it. And on top of that, if you're not recirculating these devices, you lose the opportunity to make a positive impact on the environment and society. Because by recirculating a device, you avoid, the production of a new one, which is positive for environment and society.
And how do you see this market of reusing smartphone developing in the coming years?
So, it's growing fast, but it could be growing even faster. How? By working on the ability to collect smartphones locally. We need to create value. And creating value is by creating jobs, creating positive impacts, etc., etc. And you can only create jobs in this sector by collecting locally. Because when you collect locally, you will need to hire people to treat those devices locally, etc. So it will generate like a new activity, a lot of value, but it has to start by being able to collect locally. And now that's what the market is not able to do, and that's what we are solving, to allow the big players having millions of customers to be able to collect locally and to create value.
And what are your ambitions with a smart world? Whether it is in terms of market penetrations or even the goal that you want to achieve?
Clearly we started in Belgium because I'm Belgian, right? So it's our lab. Now we are aiming to expand into 5 new territories, first in Europe, and then actually, we are solving a global issue. So it would be a lack of ambition not to go global. So I'm really willing to go global, and we are building the solutions to allow the global players to be more efficient.
And to do so, are you looking for investors or clients? How do you want to reach this?
Yeah, yes, correct. We are aiming to raise our Series A round in the next quarter or so. So to fuel the expansion and to invest in the sales team and software development which is key because it's like really the asset light side of the business, which makes us today very highly scalable.
And what is it that you're looking for in a business partner?
Sorry?
What is it that you're looking for in a business partner?
I mean, business partnership, I mean, it has to be win-win, right? We are just an enabler of change, as I said, so we are helping our partners to be more efficient. If there is something I know is that I will not be changing the world by myself. I don't have the network, I don't have the ability to reach those hundreds of millions of people. So let's help those players having those hundreds of millions of people to reach to be more efficient.
Well, that was very interesting. Thank you very much, Geoffroy, for this. And we will head to the next entrepreneur, which I think is Awit. Thank you. So do we go? Sorry, the other way around. Okay, welcome back. So now we are with Nalios and with the founder. So we will discover what is it that they're doing. So could you introduce us to Nalios and what is its mission?
Sure. So thank you. Thank you for this interview, first of all. So my name is Christophe. I'm the co-founder of Nalios, who is an integrator of the Odoo software. So Odoo is a management company tool developed in Belgium. And it's today a big software in terms of helping companies grow. And so with my business partner, we decided, the two of us, so we met each other at Odoo directly, so in the company itself, in Belgium. And then we decided to create our own company to help the other companies, SMEs particularly, to develop and digitalize their company. And we've done that in October 2020. And we are now 40 people across 5 different agencies. So one in France, in Lille, one in Switzerland, 2 in Belgium, and recently we've opened also in Martinique as well.
Okay, I thought it was in 3 countries, so it's expanding very rapidly. But if I'm not wrong, your path of you and the other co-founder is quite interesting. So what is your background?
So actually, so as I said, we met each other in a company, so at the Odoo company where we were functional consultants. So we were already helping companies digitalize with Odoo software. And then we became friends in the beginning. And we decided to take our own vision of the service and create our own company to start. And that's how we started, basically, yeah.
Okay, and yes, as you just said, Odoo is actually a front office solution, so it helps especially SMEs in their tasks related to HR, finance, so all those tasks where they cannot hire staff. So, and it is currently used, if I'm not wrong, by almost 5 million users in Belgium or all around the world?
It's actually 12 million users now around the globe. Yeah. So it's expanding rapidly, and the reason why the numbers are hard to catch up with is because it's growing 50% growth a year, every year for like maybe 15 years straight now. So it's growing really rapidly, and yeah, that's why you probably have the 5 million users. It's actually 12 now.
All right, impressive. And what is your approach to integrate it? Do you differentiate yourself in the way you approach this integration in the SME system?
Yeah, usually when you have a business integrator like us, you usually have a company that is developing custom solutions to tailor the software to the needs of the customer. We do the very opposite of that, because Odoo is a really mature software now that is able to take all the needs of the company into consideration and directly configure the software and do the parameters correctly, so that you don't have to do custom code. And so most of our staff is basically functional consultants, so they are business experts rather than developers, and they are helping companies like improving their processes, but without coding. So, which is a big difference in my opinion. Yeah.
All right. And the aim is to enable those SMEs to be more productive. So, do you by any chance have data? So, in the showing how more productive they are. And if not, or at least it would be a second question, do you have a use case scenario, for example, so we better understand how it works?
Yeah, usually what happens is that because Odoo is integrated with all the software, so you have to see that, for example, we have a CRM system that is in Odoo, then you have it connected to the sales application, so you are able to send quotations, you are able to send sales orders that are translated into the inventory app if you are a retailer, for example, or the project application if you are a service company. And then you can track your invoicing, you can track your accounting and so on. So the best way to describe how it helps companies is it helps them save time. And by saving time, I mean usually the boring tasks, let's say, are completely discarded. And so the people that are inside the company can actually focus on the more added value tasks inside the company. And so I have a use case in mind where someone was supposed to be doing sales at the company, and he wasn't able to do so because he had so many administrative tasks to do. And actually, when we integrated Odoo inside their company, he actually could remove completely all the administrative tasks and then focus back to the sales, which was his own job, his primary job. And so it helped the growth as well of the company.
Okay, and I think you kind of mentioned it, but you also provide trainings, right, to those companies to help them to further autonomously use it. So how does it go? How do you train those SMEs?
Yeah. So basically, we like to make our customers autonomous with the system. It's very, very important because implementing or integrating a solution like this is very complicated. It's a big process, and you have to have people inside the company that are convinced that we have to change something with the software, right? So the change management section of our business is really crucial. And so that's why we focus on this. And the way we train people inside the company is we apply what we call a train-the-trainer methodology. So what it is that our consultant, our internal consultant at Nalios, will train a single point of contact, a person that is responsible for the project internal to the company. And then this person will be responsible to train the other people inside the company. The reason why we do this is for change management purposes, because when you have someone that you know inside your company that knows your processes and so on, and that you are trained by him or her, it's much better to be trained by someone you know than by someone you don't know from a consulting firm, for example.
Okay. And as you mentioned during the introduction, so you are growing rapidly, so you are now in 5 countries. At
Nalios, we are now 40 people integrating the Odoo solution. At Odoo, I think there are like 5,000 or something like this. Yeah.
And so, what are the challenges or the opportunities? Because sometimes we have good surprises that you have encountered when you went international.
So the big challenges were to actually open the structures, to find the right people. So like opening and growing a company is always a matter of people, and you have to find the right persons to do the right job. And fortunately enough, we had people that joined us during the process that are really, really valuable to the company. For example, in France, we opened really rapidly because we have two people that are actually driving the business here in France. We had the same in Switzerland, we have the same in Flanders, we also have the same in Martinique now. It's very, very important to have the right people at the right place. Yeah.
Okay, talking about this, why those locations?
Yeah, so it's a very good question actually. So France is a really big market for us because as an Odoo integrator, we figured that not a lot of people are actually focusing on the French market. Which is a shame for me because it's a huge market with very good opportunities, and also not a lot of software tools are available to the SMEs. So it's a very big opportunity to help them grow as well. So this was a focus since the beginning. And then we also grew by opportunity. So at some point we had people reaching out to us, telling us, okay, we would like to open offices, for example, in Flanders, for example, in Switzerland, and in Martinique, and we took the opportunity to be able to grow those businesses as well. But it wasn't something that we thought in the beginning, it was more something that grew out of opportunity.
And what are the next steps? What are your objectives, whether it is for 2024 or in the coming years?
Yeah. So the big goal for us now is to be able to grow the French market, because we just opened, it was in January, so it's very early still, but we are on a good path to succeed on that. So it's very important for us to keep growing this market, keep growing the other offices as well, and probably open new offices across Europe. For example, Luxembourg is also one of our targets, so that would be the next steps, I would say.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It was definitely an interesting conversation. So I wish you all the best and thank you. So we're heading to our next entrepreneur. I'm not sure who it is. If you could wait. Hi, welcome back. So we are here with another entrepreneur from Wallonia. The company is called Digiteal. But first of all, what I would like to say is that if you want to find back all the information, whether it is from Awix, you can go in the description of this live. You will have all the address of the Awix, the social networks, etc. So here we are with Digiteal. So hello. So could you present us Digiteal and what's the mission of the company?
Of course. Hello, everyone. Digiteal is a fintech, and if there is only one sentence that you need to remember or to remind is that we help companies from the public sector, from the private sector, to get paid faster, more regularly, and at a lower cost. We have seen that still in 2024, a lot of companies are using old school system to send their invoice, to get paid, and to reconcile the payment, and therefore we developed added value on that.
And why was it founded? What's the rationale behind this?
Funny story, the founder, Cedric Neve, had to replace the accountant for a few days in his previous company, and he was astonished how manual the tasks were. So to encode a paper invoice, to encode manually a payment, and he said it's not possible to continue such as. And so he started to look for European standards to see if something was existing to ease those processes. And in fact, he discovered some the payment QR code, the real e-invoicing, and this is all the technology that we use to build our services.
And why is it interesting, whether for large companies or even public organizations?
In fact, good question. If I can share an image, if those are those companies are a tree, they need sap to live. And in fact, in reality, the sap is the money. Faster the companies collect the money, better it is. And by optimizing those flow, they are reducing their costs, and they are giving or sharing more satisfaction to their customer, which is also really important.
And what is important when a company adds a software or a system is that it perfectly adapts and integrates with all the other systems in place. Otherwise, we might end up with two systems that do not read each other. So how does your solution make sure that it does adapt with all the systems in place?
Excellent question. What we advise to our customer is indeed to not use an extra system, but to embed our solution in their current flow, because the team are used to certain softwares, and the better it is integrated, the better it will be used. And therefore, our solutions are only API based. So that the invoicing software or the accounting software, the ERP, can connect to our system and put them in the different solutions that are already in place.
And as you mentioned, we're sometimes surprised by the way even multinationals do operate. They have some very old systems, and sometimes it is even one person who is normally not even in charge of doing invoice that does all the invoices for the sales rep, and then it's another department that is in charge of the payment. Well, it's quite chaotic. So how does your solution enables them to be more productive? So you answered that question a bit. But also, do you eventually have a case scenario, so where we better understand how efficient it is?
Yeah, of course. I can share you, for example, two examples. The fact that you do not realize how many people are just paying without putting the communication in the details, so the payment info. And when the payment arrives on the bank account of the company, it's not automatic reconciliated. And so using a QR code payment, a payment button, means that all the info are already encoded and cannot be edited, and therefore it's very, I was saying very cool, it's very efficient for the automatic reconciliation. Another case may be more adapted for the French market, for example. French people are used to automatic payment, so SEPA direct debit through domiciliation, where in Belgium, Belgian people prefer to pay invoice per invoice, they want to keep the control. And we have a big retailer that asked us to develop secured mandate domiciliation in order to reduce the fraud and to be sure that when a customer, end user, is signing a domiciliation, it really is IBAN and not the one of the neighbor is using, because usually, yeah, you are laughing, but some and a lot of companies are still using the system, and so when they will try to collect the money 1 month after, for example, it won't be the money will be collected, but the end user will say, okay, I never purchased something on your side. And therefore, thanks to innovative solution as open banking, we can redirect the customer to his bank account, to his bank environment, and so we've got the confirmation that it's really his bank account, and then only we produce the mandate.
Interesting. And so you mentioned France, but actually what is your coverage, and whether it is in terms of countries or eventually which markets, type of companies are you targeting?
As we are Belgium-based, of course, Belgium is currently our main market, but as we love European standards, we developed other countries more by opportunities for the time being, but we are working in Luxembourg, in France, in Spain, and so it's growing in that direction.
And so I don't know if it's the very first company of the founder of the founders, but your achievements are quite impressive for the moment. So you have recently raised 6 million, if I'm not wrong, and you have been certified by the National Bank of Belgium as a fintech. So these are 2 great achievements. And what are the next steps?
I will share it to the founder. Thank you for him. Indeed, it was not his first company, and so I had already experience in the IT world. Indeed, becoming a payment institution is a little bit crazy when you start for a startup, and therefore we had to raise big amounts. But this leads us to the current situation where we have really something robust for Europe. We were recently acquired by another fintech, a bigger fintech, that is really complementary to what we are doing. So it's IRA, they are more in the retail side with payment terminals, for example, and also their focus is more what we call tier 1, where Digiteal will be more focused on tier 2 and tier 3. And by this way, we are able to cover all sizes of companies, the small one as the big ones, because at the end, everyone wants to be to collect the money easier.
And are you looking for other business partners or collaborations?
By Digiteal, we love the principle of the teal management, so there is more in 2 brains than in 1, and therefore we are really open for partnerships. Because we think that together, if we bring added value, if the whole partner can bring added or develop added value on the top, it's much easier to provide a good solution. So it's more partnerships that we are looking for.
Okay, thank you very much. That was definitely interesting. So we wish you all the very best in this journey, and maybe see you next year. Okay, we're heading to the next entrepreneurs. welcome back. So we are with the CEO of Awit, so Andrew Williams. So hi Andrew, could you first introduce Awit and the mission of the company?
Hi, I started Awit when I was 17 years old, and now I'm 21. And Awit is a company specialized in optimization through digitalization, with a focus on sustainability in processes.
And what has been your path to come up with such a solution?
Yeah, so when I started as a programmer analyst in enterprise, I discovered that there is a lot of problem about processes, and I know that there is a lot of problem with sustainability in companies actually. So we really need to focus on this optimization, but the optimization can be done with a part of sustainability, and I started develop this way and create my own methodology.
And how do you use digitalization and AI to optimize those processes?
So actually we are working with a lot of data visualization to develop, to quantify the number in enterprise and know how we can reduce carbon emission. After that, we challenging processes, company processes, and we develop or modify tools in the enterprise, such as ERP, as we are official partner of Odoo, for example, to optimize sorry, company processes, and after all, reduce carbon emission.
And instead of asking you what is the return on investment of optimizing processes, I would more like to ask what is the cost of not optimizing processes, because often companies, they do see this as a cost or maybe even a luxury to optimize their processes, and they don't usually realize the cost of maintaining their old process.
So the first part is really we can, if we optimize processes, we have a lot of gain in efficiency in the enterprise, less burnout. There is a lot of repetitive task that is there is done by a lot of employees, and if we reduce this repetitive task with such as AI, for example, we can gain a lot of efficiency. Then there is a part about the sorry, I just lost my word, but that's the first part, and there is a lot of yeah, that's it for us.
But you mentioned burnout, and that was one of my questions, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think I even count the number of my friends or a relative which have stopped working for some months because they went through a burnout. So that's definitely a cost for the employee and the employer. So if we could find a way to eliminate this, that would of course be an excellent thing. So how do you enable, you already answered it a bit, but how do you enhance the quality of work thanks to your processes?
Yeah. So to optimize the processes, we start by going in the enterprise, analyze every processes and every process, and then make data visualization such as business intelligence to have from one part the data about the enterprise, the amount, money or process, and in the other part there is all the data about carbon emission. After that we challenge processes in the enterprise, and then we can work with the enterprise to develop such new things like new tools, or optimize the tools that they already have, or maybe add new tools, as I said, like Odoo, for example, or another things.
Okay, so this is quite new, but I understand the interest from companies must be strong. So what do you observe? Who comes to you and why?
Yeah, we have a bit less than 2 years we launched a bit less than 2 years ago, and for the moment there is really a need. We understand that 2 years ago there isn't a lot of companies that contact us for the sustainability part. Really for the optimizing part, there is a lot of people, but not for the sustainability. But now there is really an increased number of companies that contact us for the for optimizing their processes sustainably. A lot for data hosting, for example, how to change the hosting of data or the picture, or how we can access and the optimal data hosting, as we say, and reduce the cost for the employers and improve the reduce the cost and reduce the carbon emission for the electricity or things like that.
And how do you see Awit developing in the coming years?
Yeah, for the moment we are already working internationally with a bit less than 30 projects done so far, and we are expand actually a lot to Asia, but we are not. We are working internationally, so we don't want to lose, for example, North America or things like that. We are also working with them, but we want to introduce the sustainability part in Asia, where there isn't for the moment a lot of things like that.
Okay, so what exactly is it that you see in Asia? I'm getting curious.
So actually we are going to Taiwan with AWEX in 2 weeks to discover discover solutions that are already made, meet for example maybe photo partners or customer, and see how can we go and implement Awit there, expand. But we are really interested for going to, for example, Japan or South Korea.
Okay, interesting. And to do so, to grow and to eventually go in Asia, are you looking for an investor or a business partner?
Yeah, actually, we are looking for a lot of partners. We are open to a lot of things, and we are currently looking, but less actively, to investors to develop Awit abroad the Europa, for the example.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for this discussion, and I wish you all the best with Awit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I think we will go ahead with the next entrepreneurs. It is on the other side. Follow us. back, and this time with Cortex Machina, another really interesting startup or company from Belgium. And we are here with its co-founders. So hi, could you...
Hello, thank you. So yeah, we at Cortex Machina are building EEG and BCI systems. Now, what are EEG and BCI systems? It's devices that allow you to read what happens in the brain of a user in real time and use this information to control your digital environment. So this is used mostly in the medical sector, but has more and more application outside it in entertainment, well-being and research sectors. And in the medical sector, it's used mostly for epilepsy diagnosis, epilepsy monitoring, ICU, EEG, and for neurofeedback for applications like PTSD, exposure therapy, and autism. Now, why have we developed this? So the thing is, EEG is not a new technology. It's about 100 years old, and it's not very complicated. It's just measuring with sensors the variations of electrical activity in the head. Now, it remains up to now extremely expensive in the medical sector. Why? Well, we have been looking and doing some analysis, and it's because of the human factor. As an example, and how I got into neurology also, I have a brother, when he was little, had to do neurofeedback for cognitive enhancement for autism. And typically for neurofeedback you would need like 20 to 25 treatments, and each treatment can cost between 2,000 and 3,000 euros. So you are at about 70,000 euros for a single patient. And in the end, he only had 3 sessions that were repaid by Social Security, and afterwards was not possible anymore. So I went to look, why is this still so expensive? It's not complicated technology, it's old, it has been used for 100 years. And we came to the human factor. So typically in the medical sector, you wouldn't use a headset like this. You would put sensors one by one on the head of the patient with conductive gel. So this is done by a neurologist, and it already takes like an hour of time of the neurologist just to start recording the brain activity of the patient. Then you have to analyze the data, you have to do the diagnosis, and all these steps take a lot of hours of time of highly skilled professionals that you have to pay, of course. So we decided to redevelop this system by taking out the human factor as much as possible. So first, we don't use conductive gel and sensors that you have to place one by one. We use a dry system. Typically, we would not use this in the medical sector because it produces data that is of lesser quality than wet systems. But with the revolutionary advances of the last 10 years, let's say, in IT, we are now capable of creating headsets and ways of processing the data that allows us to approximate the data quality from wet systems with dry systems. So with this, anyone can start collecting data in 30 seconds or less. So instead of having one neurologist with one patient for an hour, you could have one technician supervising maybe 10 patients at a hospital. Another thing we can do is EEG at home. We can just send this with the patient at home and ask them to do a session from the comfort of their own home.
All right, okay, because I have one question. Actually, it's a very interesting technology, of course, and you will discover it in depth afterwards. But it can be applied to many other sectors or activities.
Exactly.
So, how, and could you also explain how it could be integrated in their daily operations? Well, give us a case example.
Maybe first in the medical sector and afterwards in other sectors. So in the medical sector, it's typically used is the benchmark test for diagnosis for epilepsy. So we will ask a patient to, we'll need to record like 72 hours or 96 hours consecutive of EEG of a patient. Today they have to go to the hospital, stay in a room for like 12 hours hooked up to a machine. So for quality of life, it's really bad. Now we are doing tests with a hospital in Brussels where we are going to set up the patient at home with this, have them walk around and just do their daily life and see if we can do the same type of diagnosis that we did with wet systems at the hospital itself. So this is already a gain in quality of life for the patient. What we also want to be able to do is predict epileptic attacks. So we already do this with cardiac information. ECGs like we call it, but it's not very precise. It can be dependent on arrhythmias of the patients, and with this we hope to be able to be much more precise in the prediction of upcoming attacks, but also say to the patient, well, watch out, maybe in the next 15 minutes you will have an attack, don't go driving, go lie down, stuff like that. Now, outside of the medical sector, we use this combined with programs that will use the EEG data to do stuff on a computer. It allows you to control your digital environment directly by your thoughts. So just by thinking, we can detect what you are thinking and we can use this. Imagine I'm thinking about moving my right arm. The headset can tell me that you're thinking about moving your right arm in real time, and we can use this, for instance, in entertainment to move a character around, or we can use it to play games. You can also use it in VR. One thing that we can detect with this is emotions. So imagine a horror game that you play in VR. There are a lot of monsters coming, but we see that you're too scared and we don't want to traumatize the player. Well, we can tell with this system integrated in the VR headset that you're too scared, so we will be a bit kinder in the game. Or you can do completely the opposite if you want to make it really hard. It is also used in marketing, so for instance to assess the panels. Yeah, assessment panels. We put this on the heads of panel members, and we can see if they are indeed happy, indeed sad, or which emotions they experience while they are watching the media that is presented to them. It is also what we do is to really create affordable plug-and-play system. The problem with EEG and BCI is that it can be very complicated and very expensive. Typical medical systems will be around 50,000 euros. We have developed a headset that is for the moment at 1,600 euros, and we are aiming at only 800 euros. And it's completely plug and play. We want anyone to be able to buy this, put this on their head, and in like 30 seconds start to control whatever they want on their computer. To do this, we have we have different approaches, but the most interesting is the machine learning approach, where we train neural networks to recognize patterns in the brain. You can recognize, for instance, I'm thinking about moving my right arm, but you can also detect stuff like anxiety. You can detect things related to autism, or you can detect I want to move forward and reload my gun. So you can use it in a lot of different sectors. And we have created this to be extremely easy to integrate in other projects. So it uses a system that we call a WebSocket application, which allows developers to use the data coming from a headset on any platform, be it a PC or a smartphone or even a drone. And we give them the tools to develop their own use of this. Because we are technology developers, we are not app developers, not game developers, and we're pretty sure that like the new generation can come up with much better uses in the entertainment sector for this kind of technology than ourselves. So we just make it extremely easy for them to use it and experiment with it.
But how did you even come up with this solution? Because it is one thing to see the need, to envision it, but how did you concretely do it?
My brother had needed like 20-25 sessions of neurofeedback, and we only got 3 because it's too expensive for social security. I started with this like 15 years ago as a passion. Then there was a COVID pandemic where I had a lot of time to indulge in my passion. And afterwards we had a system that could, well, really start to produce results, and we decided to just launch it as a product. Started in the medical sector, and then we kind of started to see that, well, there was a lot of demands from developers if they could play around with it, gadget enthusiasts, and well, a lot of other sectors as well. So our focus is still on the medical sector, but we are trying now to diversify and really make it plug and play so that anyone can use it, be it a medical doctor or just a student wanting to try stuff out on his computer.
And if I'm not wrong, there is a video that you would like us to check? Okay, so let's go.
For the entertainment payment part, we have created a little game that uses your concentration. What does this do? This will read my brain in real time. It will send the data to a server where we pass the data through a mathematical model. And it will calculate my concentration compared to a baseline that I will do just now. It's a 10-second baseline. And if I'm more concentrated on this baseline, well, the gauge will go up higher than 50%. If it's less, then it will go beneath it. And we move a character with this gauge. So if you're under 20%, the character doesn't move. If you're over, the higher you are in concentration, the faster he moves. So that's something I'm going to demonstrate here. First, First, I'm gonna put it on my head. Up. There we go. So now I have to check my data quality. There we go. So I can check my data quality here with the lamps. They all seem pretty good. And I'm now doing what we call a baseline. It takes about 10 seconds. And here we can see the return. So we can see my concentration here. If I look around and do something else, it will go down. If I concentrate on it, it goes up. Now this we can use in a game. So we have a little demonstration game to show people what the possibilities of this system are. Like I said, it's a straight race where I'm just going to move the character around with my brain. I'm first trying to deconcentrate myself to not go too fast at the beginning. So we are around 30–40% right now. And if I now concentrate on it, I can go to 100% like you see now. Then I can try to stop my character again by not concentrating. He will slow down. And here we stopped again. And now I can finish the race by concentrating again. And there we go, we finished the game. This is just to show the possibilities. Again, like we said, we are not game developers. We want to inspire people to develop stuff with this technology. And so we're making it accessible to everyone.
And indeed, I understand it must interest a lot of different clients, companies. So who comes to you? Who's interested in even partnering with you?
So for the moment, it's mostly in the medical sector with hospitals in Belgium. I cannot tell which hospital, I'm afraid. And we are in medical study in 6 steps based on epilepsy. So like I said, the first thing we are now doing is monitoring of patients at home for longer periods, 3–4 days of continuous EEG recording. The next step will be ICU EEG. So when a patient comes in and has a shock on his head, we have to know if he's doing a stroke or not. This can be told with EEG. If it's the case, then he has to go to the surgical block directly. The next steps will be for the prevention of epileptic attacks. So today we do this by sending in a little current in one of your nerves that comes down from your brain next to your heart. We use the heart's rhythm to try to predict if an attack is coming, and if we detect something, we put a little current in the nerve, it goes up the brain, and it can mitigate the attack. The problem, since this is based on the heart rhythm, is that with all the patients you can have arrhythmias for a lot of different reasons, so it's not very precise, and we often send in currents when it's not necessary, which can be very uncomfortable. So what we want to do is to be able to much better predict when an attack is coming, but also increase the delay. So we want to be able to predict epileptic attacks up to 1 hour in advance, so that we can tell the patient, well, watch out, maybe don't go driving on the highway now, because you could have an attack in the next couple of minutes.
Okay. And are you looking for business partners, investors? How do you want to develop?
Yes, so for the moment this we did with a little pre-seed of about 300,000 euros, and we are now looking to level up with a class 1 medical certification for the headset. This will allow us to go much further in the medical sector and also sell complete epilepsy diagnosis tools with our headset. Now, in the future, we also want to go further. We have a kind of app store, so the software is separated from the hardware, where we can do whatever we want. The apps can be non-classified at all for entertainment, games, whatever. But it can also be class 1, it can be class 2, class 3. It all depends on what the client needs. So it's very flexible, and we can accommodate as well for the medical sector as any other sector to their needs.
Okay, thank you very much. That was definitely interesting to discover this BCI technology.
I think it's the future.
And well, now I want to ask another question. How do you see this technology developing?
Well, we're a bit... do you remember like in 2008, 2009 when Oculus Rift created the first good VR headsets? We are that kind of stage in the technology. So we're just before the big increase where more funds will come in and more companies will try to develop technology. And in 10 years, who knows? There are a lot of technological progresses possible, two-way communication, complete brain emulation, even communication by the thoughts. Who knows?
Okay, thank you. And we'll go to the next entrepreneurs. See you soon.
Bye.
Hi again, we're back with Effixis and more precisely with its data scientist. So hi, and could you present us this company?
Hello everyone. So Effixis is a consultancy company in AI, specifically working on text-related applications. We work with multinational corporations as well as SMEs, startups, and also public institutions. The team consists of 25 people in Switzerland and Belgium. Yeah, so that's it, Effixis.
Okay, and what about you? So what's your background in data sciences?
So yes, I'm data scientist at Effixis. My background, I have a degree in, I obtained a degree in mathematical engineering at École Polytechnique de Louvain in Belgium. And most of the team has a technical background as well.
All right. And on your website, it is said that you help companies to tackle the most difficult challenges. So may I ask you which are these?
Yes, so it depends on the client. The advantage of AI and more specifically LLMs is that you can tackle really a lot of different use cases. But we offer three different services to our clients. First, the AI upskilling and training to allow them to understand how they can use AI, what they can do, also how to master the tools. Then we also do consultancy, more strategic consultancy, where we try to find with the client together some use cases and also prioritize them. And then a more operational consultancy where we implement the use cases, or if we have to develop an application, then we can also do it because we have a technical background.
And even though that's not quite your field, but what's the if you know what's the outcome for companies? How does it help them to be more productive? Do you know what's the output actually?
So yes, the outcomes for a client, I would say that technically it's not so difficult for a company to use AI, but we saw that it was really difficult for companies and even more for big companies to adopt AI so that people use it. That's why we also try to train the people so that they can use it on the right way, and they also have the good practices. And mixing this with the technical part, that's how for the client there is a better outcome. And let's imagine there is a marketing department in a company. If they use AI to solve some problems, then they will gain in productivity, but also in quality to create content. And so that's how also they can get a competitive advantage by using AI tools.
Okay, and you have kind of 360 degrees offering. So because at first you have this AI Academy where you at first teach people to use AI, then you help them to redefine and reflect on their AI strategies, and finally you find those solutions and you build up those solutions for them. But so coming back to this AI Academy, since it's quite a new field, my question would be, how do you even teach AI, and what's your approach?
So the approach is first, we try to teach some global knowledge about AI. So just to speak the same language with the client. Then I would say that a good approach is also to find real use cases in the company. So first, it helps directly the company to to solve these use cases. But also, for a company, if you give a use case and you can show direct impacts, then it helps them also to trust more in AI and to adopt AI more easily. Yes.
And do you train them in the main AI, for example, ChatGPT, Gemini? And if so, how do you do it?
So yes, as we are mostly working with a text-related application, We work a lot with OpenAI, ChatGPT from OpenAI, but also Gemini from Google and all the others model. We have quite a good overview of all the technologies that exist. That's why also we advise some tools depending on the client. For example, if the client has everything on the Azure infrastructure, then it's better to deploy the model on Azure. But so yes, it depends on the client.
And actually, with this AI Academy, you have handled, well, with the company, you have handled 120 projects, and with the Academy, you have trained 8,000 people, so that's quite a great achievement. So do you have any example of an outstanding success that you have had with the training of the people or with the Academy?
Yes, so we train more than 500 employees from a financial institution, and so it's nice to see that now they are using AI on a daily basis in the company. Also, after this training, we still continue working with this company to work on other projects. So that's one example, but. Also in Belgium, we have been working together with a hospital for more than 2 years. And it's also nice to see how using data in a hospital can really make a difference in decision making for the direction of the hospital and the care.
And how do you think that your field could develop in the coming years?
It's moving super fast, so it's super exciting. And we are part of it, so it's nice to see how it's evolving, to follow. Every week we see new technologies, and it's also important for our clients that they know that we are up to date with the latest technology. So yeah, I would say it's super exciting field.
Okay, and in case you do know again, so what are the future goals for Effixis?
To continue bringing AI to companies and help them to adopt it so they can also gain competitive advantages, and maybe for more difficult tasks to have an assistant to help them through AI.
Okay, well, thank you very much for this interesting conversation, and I wish you all the best with the development of your company.
Thank you.
everyone. So we are back, and this time with the CEO of Vocsens. So good afternoon, and could you present us Vocsens and the mission of the company?
Yeah, so the mission of Vocsens is to make the invisible visible. So basically we make multi-gas sensors. We do that with a Belgian company based in Louvain-la-Neuve. So our mission is to improve the quality of air actually in barns for farmers and also in buildings for smart buildings applications.
And do you know why the founders came up with this company? What was the rationale behind this?
Yeah, actually the founders are Thomas Walloons and Jan Dalé. They did both their PhD at UCL, the University of Louvain-la-Neuve. And this was a result of Thomas' research at UCL. And there's a need for multi-gas sensors, so that's why they created the company.
And so this is actually the NVCam. And
yes, that's the NVCam over there.
And could you tell us why it's eventually unique compared to others solution on the market?
Yeah, so the NVCam is a semiconductor-based multi-gas sensor. We have on our sensors different sensing layers, as you can see over there. And every sensor layer actually can detect a certain kind of gas. So we can detect multiple gases on one sensor, which makes at the end you can make a solution which is smaller, more cost-effective, and due to the sensitive layer also has a very good accuracy. So that's the main differentiators compared to competition.
And could you tell us about your very first innovation, which if I'm not wrong, is called ammonia microsensor? Why was it so important for agriculture?
Yeah, so we will start with ammonia, because for ammonia there's a big unmet need. So the current solutions which are on the market are quite expensive. Ammonia has multiple applications, but the most important application is in the farming industry, where we need to reduce ammonia actually for 3 reasons: for animal welfare, also to improve the production for the farmers itself. And actually ammonia is also harmful for the environment, for the biodiversity. So measuring it will also help to create some solutions to reduce it further in the future. So ammonia is very important for biodiversity and the environment. And that's why we want to monitor it, so that farmers can implement measures to lower it, basically.
Okay, but so we've been mainly discussing about agriculture, but I understand the solution can be extended to other sectors. So are there other sectors that you're targeting or other type of companies, for example?
Yes, so we will start off with agriculture, because there's a real unmet need according to us. But we are constantly adding new gas materials to our sensors to allow to measure different kind of gases. So we start with ammonia, but we will soon also have NO2, CO2, CO. Formaldehyde detection is also on our roadmap. And that all enables us to make a miniaturized, cost-effective sensor that has applications also outside of the agriculture market, in the smart building market. So to monitor basically the ventilation system, or to improve the power consumption of ventilation system, because you know when you need to basically to put the ventilation a little bit higher or lower.
All right, so that was related to my next question, because I wanted to ask you if you have a case example to help us to better understand how it works, and if you have an example of an application of it. You mentioned the smart industry, or in other sectors where it could be relevant.
Yeah, I think what we try to do in general is to control the atmosphere. And if you want to control the atmosphere, you need to monitor first the atmosphere to do corrective actions, basically. So like I just already said, if you're with too many people in a room, for example, you maybe have too much CO2 in the room, then you want to put the ventilation system a little bit higher. In the barns of the farmers, if they have too much NH3, maybe they want to start cleaning the barn or change the food basically that they give to the animals. So that are corrective actions that you can do if you measure. If you don't measure, you don't know anything, and you cannot do a corrective action, obviously.
Right. And so from what I know, you already partnered with UCL Louvain, which is one of the main universities here in Belgium. So what enabled you to do, and how did it enable you to develop your product thanks to this collaboration?
Yeah, we have a very good relationship with UCL. We have multiple projects with them, but most of the projects are actually situated around these sensing layers. So we evaluate together with them different kinds of sensing layers for the different gases, so that we can extend our portfolio of the different gases that we can measure.
And what are the future goals for your company, for Vocsens?
Yeah, the future goals are the route to industrialization and productization. We have engineering samples. We also have our first customers. We have the first devices made already. But of course, everything needs to be scaled up and industrialized. So in the next stage, we will start that industrialization and production. And slowly we will extend the portfolio of the different gases that we can measure to extend the applications that we can target.
And are you looking for a business partner or an investor to develop the solutions?
Yeah, like just said, we already have good collaboration, for example, with UCL. We also work with other companies where we develop things together, so we have a pretty good ecosystem around us. But as already said, we want to go to industrialization and to production. So what we are currently looking for is an investor for a Series A round that will enable us to go in that scale up, basically.
Okay. And do you have an idea of the type of investors that you're looking for, or eventually the values or what they're active in?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do you have, for example, an idea or something that you're looking for in an investor? What kind of investor would you like to deal with?
Yeah, preferably it's somebody that shares basically the same vision towards the market, I believe, that's interested in creating a better and controlled atmosphere, both in barns and in the smart building. So preferably somebody that knows also the market and wants to, with us together, basically bring these products to the market.
Okay, well, that was very interesting to discover this technology, and we wish you all the best with your company.
Thanks a lot.
See you. We'll go ahead with the next entrepreneurs. welcome back. And we are here with another great company. And I'm very glad because it's, at least for today, it is the first female entrepreneur that I interview. So finally, there we are. So hello and really nice to meet you. And could you present us your company?
So my company, you mean? So yeah, so Semactic is a SEO platform. So we basically help companies to rank higher in the search results, like Google or Bing. And we have developed a software to help them internalize this skill and to really self-manage their SEO.
And what is actually your background? So how did you come up with this company and the will to develop it?
Actually, we met, my co-founder Kevin and I met in a digital marketing agency. So we are backgrounds in digital marketing and SEO in particular. And we have very complementary backgrounds. I am more focusing on SEO, marketing and communication. And my co-founder is developer and has a huge background in data analytics and in finance as well. But that's not what his preferences. But anyway, there we felt that there was a missing approach for SEO because it's really perceived as very complex. And delivering SEO audits in our agency, we realized that it was every time very painful because the client didn't know exactly what to do, how to do it. And at the end, we didn't know exactly what drove results. So that's why we developed Semactic actually.
Okay, and actually, so you help companies to measure their online visibility efforts. But so more precisely, so what service do you offer them?
Yeah, actually we recommend accurate tasks to do on the website to get higher ranking. So we tell you exactly what to do, and then we will track every change on the website. So that's what we were mentioning. We track every change. Every day we crawl the entire website to see if it has been accomplished the right way, and then we track the impact of it. And that's really a huge motivator because you finally know the impact of your efforts, and so you continue to improve, you continue to implement, and that's the goal with SEO. You need to be very regular to get results.
And there is one particularity with your approach. It is a step-by-step approach. So could you tell us a bit more about this very specific way of doing?
Yes, exactly. We are really focusing on action. So, well, of course, we use data, but the goal is to remove all the complexity from it and to really gather everyone into the platform. So you can be a developer, you can be a copywriter, you can be an SEO beginner or an advanced SEO expert. Everyone is welcome into the platform, and we tell you exactly what to do according to your level of expertise. So we have different kinds of recommendations. Our approach is really based on the different pillars of SEO. So you have the technical aspect of SEO. We tell you, for instance, that you need to change some elements in the code of your website. We tell you as well in terms of semantic, so on page, so you should improve this page, add some content, modify some keywords. That's the kind of things that we do, but very accurately and always based on your strategy. So it's not, disconnected from what you really want to, what is your positioning and what you really want to focus on. It's really connected to that, and we will always tell you exactly what to do for content, technical, and also for the popularity of the website, basically. And that's really different because most tools are usually focusing on data, where we really focus on action and impact.
And do you have a use case example, so for us to better understand how it works, and also an example where we could see how it actually helped to measure the online visibility of a company?
Yeah, we have several examples. The one that comes in mind for me, because it's really something we really like when clients give us this feedback. It's notaris.be, notaire.be in French. It's as the name. It's about notaris, notaire. In the legal sector. I don't know how you say that, but concretely they were absolutely not SEO experts, and they were like, okay, but will it be for us, and so on. So they are legal experts writing content for the website, but with the help of Semactic, they could really gain skills. So they were told exactly what to do to optimize their content and finally get visibility or higher visibility. They were already good, but they needed some optimization to really rank higher. And so they got really concrete results. They got more convinced about the SEO power because they were a bit dubitative at the beginning, and they felt empowered as well because the content that they write is now really visible, so they know why they do it, and they learned a lot in terms of SEO through the platform. So that's a really nice case. They increase a lot their visibility and their skills through the platform. That's an example. The other example, crucial example, is MediMarket. It's an e-commerce, and for e-commerce, SEO is crucial. And we help them to gain 70% visibility in the SERP, so it's huge, and of course it translates into concrete revenue impact. So that was really nice. And for the anecdote, they had only an intern to manage that at the beginning because they were also like trying a bit. And now they have hired someone that does it full time because they saw that the results were there. So it's very often the case that we start with a very small team and then they deploy a bit more because they see the results.
And indeed, SEO is really not a new field. Still, I understand that the company's interest and knowledge about it must be still not very developed. So what do you observe, and actually how can you seize opportunities in that?
Yeah, but actually that I can understand that it's very complex for companies because, well, they know that it's important, but it's always changing. So it's and it's, well, it's really accelerating now with AI, and so they need guidance. It's really what we feel, and that's the opportunity that we seize because the tool will guide them and provide them concrete recommendations. So that's the opportunity we have. Sorry.
I give you 1 second because I have another. You just mentioned AI, so of course I need to ask you a question about that. So how do you integrate it, and how did it change the SEO challenges, let's say?
Yeah, it's a game changer, of course, but we integrate it by a writing assistant. So we analyze the content of the pages, the semantic, and with NLP, for the linguistic analysis, we can define what should be the focus keyword of the page, what should be the thematic, and how to optimize it. And so, sorry, we will guide you. So it's a real writing assistant telling you what you should add, the type of content and the semantic field you should have. I'm really sorry for that.
Sorry, we will get a glass of water because we're facing a technical issue here. Perfect. The team is very reactive. And yeah, I really want to go ahead with this question because it was a very interesting one. Okay, you feel better? Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I was saying AI, we integrate it, but I would say only when it's necessary, because we don't think you need to push a massive amount of content generated by AI. In SEO, we saw by experience that it's not really a good idea. You can rank higher sometime, but then you will decrease, well, it's the risk. So we push more a guidance. So really, we help you to write the right content. We provide you with optimized titles, for instance, optimized descriptions, an optimized plan to write your content, and all the semantic fields. It's already a huge time saver. And then you customize a bit, of course, because it's important for your positioning that you do not just follow what AI produces for the moment. But we are evolving on the question because, of course, we don't know what will be tomorrow. So for the moment, we prefer to be cautious about that for SEO and really help you to write the content. Of course, we have GenAI into the tool, but we really insert it in a way that you won't be penalized by Google, for instance.
And you mentioned a few companies that you help to increase and measure their visibility, but generally speaking, who is it relevant for? So what kind of company do you do you target or attract, and who can benefit from it?
Yeah, the main sector, well, it's not linked to a specific sectors, I would say, but the main drivers that, or the most fitable companies have in common that they, of course, require high visibility in search engines and have a minimum of 2 members, I would say, in their marketing. As soon as you have a minimum team, marketing team, we can be the right solution. But of course, for the SEO needs, the most suitable clients are e-commerce or a website that have a large amount of content. So we have, for instance, insurance or all the B2B sector providing a lot of informational articles and things like that. Media, for instance, could be a good fit as well. Or large companies that have also a need to alignment between their teams, because the project management approach, the task approach, and the fact that you can check all the changes and the impact is something that also speaks a lot to large companies with different teams implemented in different countries, for instance, for the alignment of the teams in a common SEO strategy.
And what are the ambitions that you have for your company? How do you see it developing? And how do you even see your field developing? That's another question.
I'm not sure about the second part of the question, but...
The question is more about the measurement of SEO. How do you see it developing?
Okay. Well, we have a lot of well, it's a very exciting time for the moment because we have a lot of possibilities with AI, but also with all the possibilities. For the next development that we see, we have developed a project, an R&D project, on UX. Oh, I'm really sorry. I don't know why. It's still I'm really sorry for that. Oh, I'm sorry. I just can't. I just can't. UX is key, really, for the next development. I'm so sorry.
Well, maybe, I don't know, do you want to talk in a few seconds, or do we stay like this? Yeah, I think we really tried, and I really wanted to get more information. But yes, if you want further information, I'm afraid you will have to go on the website and check for more information. And by the way, you can find all those in the description of this live. So we will go ahead with the next entrepreneurs. So see you soon. welcome back, everyone. We're here with the company KeepIoT, and I am here with its founder and CEO, so who will present us the company because it's quite a particular technology, so you will see. But first of all, could you present us this company that you came up with, KeepIoT?
So, I am Patrick, and this company, KeepIoT, make sensors and we make sensors smart, thus intelligent. It's our goal, our business.
All right, that was neat, brief, perfect. And you, who are you? Because that's quite a particular technology. So what was your background to launch and be able to launch KeepIoT?
My background is comes from different projects in the past. For example, with the project Connect to All, European project, to assemble all sensors in one for the trucks. And I had another company. I recovered all the knowledge and the experience to create KeepIoT 2 years ago.
Okay, and to sum it up, so you actually provide real-time and remote sensors which provide real-time alert via mobile phone, but they are linked to equipment. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. Yes, it's correct. The target or product is to measure the data from different sensors. And when we have all the information of each sensors, we are able to visualize, to create statistics, and to alert. It's maybe our first goal to alert somebody in the case of a problem, dysfunction of a system.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. So because it can be used in a lot of different sectors and for a lot of different types of company. So how can it be integrated in their daily operations, and do you have examples to provide us with? An example of how it can be used by companies.
One example, it's critical, one example. We have a lot of examples, but for example, B2B, okay, for campsites, camping in French, okay. Another example for the solar panel production, because we have to control the different microcuts in the solar panel. That's another example. In the industry, the printed company to make security in order to control the different machines. It's 10% it's our line of products, and 90% is that's the customer needs. It's a lot of things.
But what are the needs, for example, of campsites, so camping in French? How can they use it, and how relevant it is for this type of customers?
The relevant thing is the price. it's every time the same. Okay. For us, it's very important to capture the information and to make some project with the background of the other projects. Thus, if somebody needs need to use a protocol, okay, we try to use the same protocols in the other projects and to bring the information to the quicker, as soon as possible in the channel of the data.
And if I'm not wrong, a few years ago you entered in a partnership with Consulting IoT. So how did this help you to adapt your offer or even develop your capabilities?
My chance is to see one people 3 years ago on the Global Link, my booth, on the Awit stand, 20 years ago in Lyon in France. Okay, and I met a person, Jean-Jacques Louis, my partner actually, and he's busy with the technology and me with the business. It's okay. 40 years to do that. It's okay.
And what are your ambitions that you set for yourselves, whether it is with your partner, and what are the goals that you have set with your partners? How do you envision now the company?
The vision of the company, when I have time to do my business, it's important to delegate all of the things I am able to make the electronic, but it's not my business. Thus Jean-Jacques is busy with this party. And for us it's very important because I have time to speak with the client, with the customers. It's not a new vision, but it's maybe the first time where we spend time to listen to customers.
And again, I think you came up in 2023 with something called KeepIoT AC survey. Yeah. So it is, again, the terms might be a bit technical, so could you explain to us what this is and
AC survey is a device asked by a client, a potential client, and we found it was interesting because in the electricity panel we have power and an example. If you are you have a house in 1,000 kilometers from here, you have the lightning and face the electrical equipment. You are not there. Thus, you can't on a person to check if all is okay. But no chance, you don't know that there is a problem. Okay, but we sent SMS with the fridge is in default, and that's the perfect things to solve a lot of problems, expensive problems, because when your fridge is down, you spend 400 euros. That's an example. That's an image.
And who are currently your clients? Because your technology can be used by so many different sectors and companies. It's with so many different way of using it. So who are your clients currently?
The client is every time in the B2B way, thus installer of for the pool service, installer for pools. In the restaurant, that's in the fridge installer. For the affair, it's also installer. It's a kind of people. That's the people we are looking for, and we have a special company who use actually the system.
And so you already have a partner in France, but how do you aim to develop? And are you looking for business partners or investors eventually?
Not yet, but sales figure in Belgium 0%. We have no client in Belgium, and we have actually. And in France, but this is the 100% order, and we talk of a lot of different customers, B2B, industrial, a lot of projects. When I see somebody, it's a new project.
Okay, well, that was again another very interesting conversation. So thank you very much, and we wish you all the best for the rest of this journey.
Thank you, for you too. Bon, moi je sais pas être...
to our live, and we will present our very last company today, and it is called Tonomia e-parking solar. It is a very interesting technology, and we're here with its CMO who will present us what it is about. So first of all, could you introduce us to Tonomia e-parking solar? What is it that you do and what's the mission?
So the mission of Tonomia is quite easy. So we have developed a solar canopy system. We are an engineering company actually. So this is very important to deliver sustainable energy. So the system has been developed to support the mobility of the electrical vehicle drivers and to sustain the electrical network, because it's important to balance the energy in function of the demand and the production, because photovoltaic energy could be very important and sometimes you need to store it, this energy. So in the infrastructure module, it's all in one, it's a kind of solar canopies. It looks like a tree, so it's really developed in function of the nature, because what have we inside the module? Photovoltaic panels. We have solar, the batteries with salt energy or lithium energy. That's important because the salt battery could be recyclable. That's very important. We have charging system. It could be fast or medium. So that's important to have a very reliable electrical charging system units. And what have we do? We can harvest it too. So, and we harvest also the rainwater. So it's a full ecological system with heat, electricity, and water. That's important.
Interesting. And who is actually behind this company? So we have the founder here, but who else is behind this company, and why was it launched?
Why, sorry?
Why was it
launched? And to come here, yeah. Why? No, because we go to the market because we face different problems that we can solve actually, and the most important one is the stability of the network, because we have many photovoltaic consumers, and we have a problem to be able to inject the energy in the network. That's the first one. We can store the energy from these local photovoltaic consumers, and we can resell it later. That's the most important one. And the other one, parking lots, because the system must be installed on major parking lots, assets with a very low value. It's not really profitable. And by installing the solar e-parking module on parking lots, we can improve the assets, the value of the parking lots. That's very important too, because it's artificial parking, so you need to increase the value of the parking lots too.
And what is also interesting is that you use eco-friendly materials and AI to ensure quality. So can you tell us how it helps to build a user-friendly interface?
The system has been designed for the nature, actually. Why do we use eco-material? Why do we use eco-material? At first is the salt inside the battery, because you can recycle the salt of the battery. It's more difficult with the lithium battery. We are using wood, and we are using steel. All the system can be dismantled actually after the life cycle of the product. That's very important. So it doesn't mean that the system is very easy to dismantle. That's important. And why is it designed by AI? First, it was for the design itself. We use ChatGPT to design the system, to discover the point of failure, because the safety is very important. The risk of fire is still important in the photovoltaic world, and with charging systems, so all the risks have been studied to be avoided thanks to AI actually. And the user interface is important because we need to operate the system very easily for the end user, for the operating user, and also for the distributor and for ourselves, because we need to collect the data coming from the system to analyze it and to improve, of course, the solutions.
Okay, and you also came up with a new solution called Tonobox. So could you tell us about this?
The Tonobox has been designed as a brain. That's the brain of the system, because we have in our e-parking solar modules a lot of IoTs, sensors, and you need to capture the data from the sensor to analyze it, to monitor, to make change management. So, and to collect data offshore, because inside you have still the charging system, the batteries, and you need to monitor what is happening inside your system. The Tonobox is the brain. It's connected, of course, infrastructure.
And how does your, I think you mentioned it a bit at the very beginning of the discussion, but how does your solution help to balance the grid and to manage excess solar power?
The idea is not necessarily to produce the electricity ourselves by the photovoltaic panels, but also it can be, we can withdraw the electricity coming from the network. That's important. When the energy is cheap, sometimes, or the price is negative because there's too much green energy, we can capture, we can store the electricity to resell it later. So it doesn't mean we do not depend on the public network.
And could you give us an example of how those modules have been installed and how they helped?
So we are still a startup, actually. We have different proof of concept in our warehouse. So we are busy with the first proof of concept. And so we are starting a kick-off project the next week for a project in Eupen in the German-speaking area in Belgium. So we accept the first order by the end of this year to deliver the first installations on the spring next year.
And do you have other projects going on for 2024 or afterwards?
I mean, sorry? After, yeah, how many? No. We have project because we have unveiled the project in Las Vegas for the innovation exhibition in Las Vegas this year. We met a lot of different customers all over the world, in Japan, in the USA. So it's important for us to see who are the best potential customer actually. So we have different proposals pending in Japan and in the USA also.
And what about Europe? Which country is interested in your solutions?
A lot of urban countries are interested. Of course, Spain, Italy could be interesting, but also in the north, because we harvest the heat. So it's a very interesting use case for the Scandinavian countries to improve the rentability of the heat pump, for instance, because they have a lot of sun. It's cold, but they have a lot of sun. So Scandinavian countries are important too, but we are starting with the countries around Belgium, of course.
Interesting. And how do you see your company developing in the coming years? So you are targeting all those countries, but are there specific sectors that or clients that you're targeting?
Yeah, there's a lot of potential customer. Of course, is the owner, the developer of the major parking lots. It could be in the retail industry, it could be, of course, in the logistic industry, the logistic sector, in the industry, the full industry himself, because they need to electrify their tools in the industry. So they need, of course, to get capacity to be able to charge their electrical devices. That's important. There's a lot of segments, and the public sector also interested for their community of energy. So the legislation is there now to make sure that the community of energy will be interesting for everyone, for every stakeholder. So it doesn't mean that the potential is very high.
All right. And well, now I'm curious. So which governments are the most are more pushing in your sense? So which countries?
You're right. The political effort are very important. Without political effort, it's very difficult to sustain a green tech energy like we are. So at this stage, I have the feeling that in Belgium, in France, they focus on green tech, but also in Ireland, actually. Ireland, many European countries have now focused to develop a net zero carbon energy, a net zero carbon project.
And are you by any chance looking for an investor or business partner to develop the company in the coming years?
There is different approach that we are still trying, a direct approach through electrical installer, photovoltaic installer. They're very interested too. So we have also two installers, and they want a proof of concept on their own parking lots to be able to understand the solution and to propose it to their own customer. Yeah. So.
Okay, well, that was another very interesting innovation. So I thank you very much for presenting it.
Thank you. Thank you for visiting us. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. And well, I'm afraid this is the end of our live show. So we met a lot of different companies and their entrepreneurs, co-founders, CMO, data scientists, and they all had a lot of different innovations. Could it be in SEO? There was this BCI cast that was quite impressive, I think. And what is interesting is that this is really what the essence of entrepreneurship is about. It is about people who start from scratch. They think, they invent, and they go further. And this is really what an entrepreneur is about. And I would say that we're very proud of what Belgium has done in that field. And so, I don't know, maybe see you next year and bye-bye.